Becca came to Edward's house as a guest. The whole family were vampires, and they were able to suppress their bloodlust. But Becca accidentally cut her finger, and her vampire brother roared and rushed over. Edward stepped forward and stopped him in time, but Becca was still bleeding, and the blood filled the wine glass. Edward's family couldn't contain themselves anymore, so Edward hurriedly took Becca away. The two ran into the small forest, and surprisingly, Edward could run so steadily while carrying someone on his back. Edward told her about his vampire origins. Being with Edward put her in constant danger, so for her safety, they decided to part ways. He then rode off alone on his scooter without taking Becca with him. Becca fell and was targeted by 3 vampires, who bit her. Edward returned, struck one vampire in the head with a baseball bat, and the remaining 2 fled. Becca was bitten, and Edward helped her suck out the poison. He couldn't resist and almost turned Becca into a dry corpse, but the two still didn't end up together. Jacob expressed his feelings for her, but Becca couldn't accept anyone else and rejected him, so Jacob had to give up for now. Edward was worried about her and came to Becca's house to protect her. As a result, having lost her lover again, Becca considered suicide, but she fell into the forest and didn't die. Jacob told her to wait while he went to call for help. However, the vampire who had been scared away by Edward earlier found Becca again and sprinkled honey on her, ready to feast. Becca turned and ran, but her speed was no match for the vampires. Jacob arrived in time and transformed into a small dog. The vampire mocked him, but Jacob called out to his brothers. The 4 brothers looked fierce, but then they started dancing. Both of them were stunned by this. Then they started fighting again, and the crisis was resolved. After breaking up with Edward, he was depressed all day. Alice foresaw that Becca was in danger and told him that Becca might be dead. Edward was completely heartbroken and decided to commit suicide at the dance. After Edward left, Alice realized she had made a mistake. Becca was already out of danger. Alice found Becca and told her about Edward's suicide attempt. Becca hurriedly got into the car, but Jacob suddenly appeared, demanding she choose between him and Edward. However, the next moment,